Hey everybody, welcome to Down Home Backyard Gardening. I wanted to take a minute and talk about 2023 and my views and my thoughts for 2024. So right off the bat, and first and foremost, what's most important to me is for me to thank all of you. I wish I could thank each and every one of y'all personally, but there's no way that I can do that. So I just want to say seriously, from just a goofy dude in his backyard filming to all of y'all watching this channel, thank you very much for your support. I didn't keep any secrets about what I was dealing with the end of last year and the beginning of this year with the mental health stuff. And all I got from everyone was nothing but support. I had one hater, which actually kind of shocked me, but it is what it is. But 99.9% of y'all supported me on my breaks and when I needed to just take a step back and focus on me. And that meant a lot. It still does mean a lot. All y'all's comments throughout the year on all the different videos and ideas and all that I've done out here, they all mean a lot. That's why I try to respond to every single comment that I can and actually that I see. So first and foremost, thank you all very, 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 very much. Now, 2023, I deemed the year of the seed because everything that I grew in this backyard was from seed. From the beginning of the year until actually right now, everything is from a seed. I did not go and buy any starts from Lowe's or Home Depot or any nurseries. Everything I did this year was literally from a seed. And for the most part, I think I was successful. I think me focusing on really learning that side of gardening, the preparing, the planning and everything, which we'll get into in a minute, really paid off. Now, I did have some mistakes. I planted certain crops next to each other that should not have been planted next to each other. I did not think things through properly. That's gardening, right? It's just part of experimenting and learning. And what do I show on this channel? Everything. Mistakes, failures, successes, and everything in between. So that to me was a big deal. I think the year of the seed was very, very successful, and I'm really glad that I did it. Now next year, I might buy some starts just to help jumpstart stuff. But actually, as of right now, I already have seeds going in there on the heat mat and under the grow lights, and it's not even January yet. So I'm getting a real big head start for 2024. For sure. Okay, my last two things to really focus on 2023 are just the different experiments that I did as far as planting certain crops where I planted them, burying old meat and vegetables and stuff actually in the garden and underneath the soil, not composting it or throwing it away, but actually using it in the garden. Just all the experiments that I did and everything that I shared. And the new crops that I grew. One definite thing that I learned, I never had rats in this backyard until I started growing melons. And this year I grew that Kahari melon, if you all remember. And that thing brought in rats. I killed 24 or 26 rats this year in this backyard. And again, prior to 2023, I never had a rat in this backyard. So that is one thing I'm going to focus on, and I'm going to plant the melons in a different area next year because I don't want them so close to the house. I'd rather them be back here on the back fence where I can deal with them better back there as opposed to up near my house and my cat losing her mind every night, which alerted me to there actually being a rat problem in the backyard because she'd freak out at night. And when I turn the lights on or flashlight, I'd have a rat looking at me. So that is one thing I learned. New crops will bring in new issues. But that's not going to stop me from 2024. I've already ordered a bunch of seeds and I'm ready to rock and roll next year, which as a gardener, you should always be focused on the next season, the next crop, the next year, the next whatever. So if you all have not bought your seeds yet for 2024, I highly suggest you do them. You place those orders now. You always know it's cold for me whenever I'm taking in the plants that I have in containers, because these are about to go inside also. But I've already started today. So let's talk about 2024, shall we? One of the big things I'm going to do for 2024, at least for spring, is I'm going to focus very heavily on peppers and tomatoes and eggplants. For those of you that have been gardening for a while, you all know that all three of those plants are from the nightshade family. So spring, I'm focusing very heavy on those three, along with a lot of others. But for the most part, I'm going to focus on those three crops. And I'm not going to focus so much on squash or zucchinis in the springtime, because I've found that all I get from that are vine borers. I don't actually get vegetables from my zucchinis or my squashes. Even with me putting out the mothball containers and keeping the vine borer moth away, I still am not getting those growing in the springtime. I just think there's too many pests, or I'm just doing something wrong. I don't know. I am going to attempt scallop squashes in the spring. One little specific section, and I'm going to grow some blue Hubbard squash as a deterrent for the vine borers. Hopefully they'll just destroy the blue Hubbards and leave this other squash plant or 2 or 3 that I plant alone. But I usually focus really heavy on squash and zucchinis in the spring. I'm not doing that this year or in 2024. Will not. I learned last year and the year before and the year before. So year 4, I'm not doing it. And this coming spring will be my 4th year of gardening. So I'm excited and ready to share, as always, everything that I do right and that I do wrong. Okay, one of the other things that I've always talked about is properly planning your garden. Now, I am not good at it. I am not going to lie, I am still learning. And like I did with the beans and peas over there, I thought I had a good idea for them, and I ended up planting certain crops next to each other that overshadowed the other crops, and then I had a whole section of peas that didn't even grow because the beans just enveloped them. So I'm going to truly plan out this backyard, and I'm going to add at least 1 or 2 more beds back here, which I'm kind of running out of room, but I don't care. I'm going to continue planting and putting in beds or raised beds that I can, because you don't need a lot of room to garden. You just need a little bit of space to get your crops planted. So I'm going to properly plan next year. Like, I'm going to really sit down and figure things out and really try to put a lot of thought into where I want things growing and how they're going to benefit each other. And again, companion planting is the absolute way to go. Down in my description below is a link to a book from Brian Lowell, who is the creator of Next Level Gardening and Next Level Homestead. He wrote a book a couple years ago, and I'm telling you, I've read that book so many times, and I still learn stuff every time I read it. So if you are new to gardening, or you know someone who's going to be new to gardening, or is thinking about gardening, get them that book. It is very simple to read. There's not crazy words in it that you don't understand. He makes it very easy to read. So companion planting is what I do back here, along with organic gardening. So I will continue doing that, and I'm going to properly plan in 2024. Along with properly planning is journaling. Now, I have said for 2 years that I am going to get on to journaling. I'm going to get really serious about journaling, and every year I say that, I don't do it. So this year, I'm going to do it. 2024, I'm going to journal everything. And I've actually already started with when I planted my seeds inside. So I think journaling is important, because if you keep a good journal, you can always look back and see what happened to this crop or that crop when the weather was this or that, or whatever. Be as detailed as you want or be as vague as you want. But I am going to truly try my darndest to journal everything in 2024. I think that will only benefit me and you all as I share in the future. And the final thing that I'm going to really do in 2024 is I'm going to move crops around. Now, right here behind me is the tomato trellis that I built specifically for indeterminate tomatoes. So Obviously my tomatoes will stay right here. They're not gonna go anywhere. Now I'm constantly amending. Like a couple videos ago, I showed you all I amended a section of this garden. Here in about 3 weeks, all of this is gonna be out. I'm taking everything out. I will amend and I'll be ready for January. I will be ready for March 1st or 2nd or 3rd. That's right around when our last expected frost date is for here in the 9A North Houston area. So I am going to move crops around. Where I had sweet potatoes this year, I'm going to move them to a different area. Where I had eggplants this year, I'm going to move them to a different area. Things of that nature. Now, I do have a small backyard. Is it really important that I do the crop rotations? Well, no, because I'm constantly amending and I'm adding new nutrients all the time to literally all the beds. But I want to try some different crops in different areas that have more sun and some crops in different areas that have less sun. So that's, again, is the proper planning that I just mentioned a few minutes ago. It's important to me to continue evolving as a gardener and trying new things. And as long as you all continue to join the ride, I will continue sharing everything that I do and why I'm doing it. All right, everybody, once again, thank you all for joining this journey of gardening with me. I say that at the end of the majority of my videos, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It wasn't something I just came up with, it just came out in one of the videos, and I absolutely loved how it sounded because it's exactly how I feel. I thank each and every one of you all for joining me on this journey because gardening is continuous. It never ends. And again, thank you all for these last few years and for everyone who's joining now and, you know, to everyone who will join in the future. I get out here and I make these videos out of a passion for gardening and a passion for sharing. And if I'm able to teach somebody something a little bit here or there, then that's awesome too. And for the youngsters like Logan, who has joined us on this journey. He's 11 and he's in his backyard container gardening. That's awesome. And all the other youngsters that watch this channel, and all the other youngsters that watch this channel, are excited about growing their own vegetables, even if it's one vegetable, or the grandparents that are joining, or the parents that are joining and teaching their kiddos a lesson, or experimenting with something for them. I love to bring kiddos into the gardening world. It is literally, pun intended, planting the seed for the future. All right, everyone, I want to say thank you again. Y'all take care. God bless. I will see you all in 2024. Ready to rock and roll. Bye.